Welcome to this workshop with me, Ian Mason. I am your hostess with the mostess. Not really a dolly dealer, but I do my best to understand. And this workshop is Come and Be a Medium, because it is literally what it says on the tin, come and be a medium. So just out of interest, and I know we've just had a very, very brief chat before we went on the live stream, but is anybody here wanting to be a medium that they can be honest enough with us, because we're all cozy here and we all respect each other, that knows that they're holding themselves back from actually getting up and having a go? It's absolutely fine. You don't have to put your arms up. Now, I have to say, I am over 50, and little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms don't work terribly well. So if you could just put them up a little bit higher, I saw and go up. So you've got a couple of hands. That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. Now, just out of interest, within you, within yourself and what you feel, is there something pulling you to want to do it? Guiding you to do it? Like you feel like you need to have a go? So I'm going to look at my lovely lady here and see if you nod. Felicity?
I feel like it's there, but I don't have the courage to
Okay.
get up and do it.
That's all right. Okay, no worries. My lovely lady at the back.
Well, I just like it readings already,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes people who've passed over come through.
They do that.
Yeah. And some of them are quite good because they teach me how to talk to them and things like that, but others don't. And I just need to pick up some tips about how to communicate more effectively.
Okay, fine. And my lovely gentleman over here.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to encircle. I've been on, when the trees go up on
Yeah.
yeah. And it's kind of been okay, but I've kind of lost my way a little bit, I suppose. I still
Okay.
got a spirit around me all the time, so I know they're there.
Yeah.
They will talk to me.
Okay.
Whether I have enough confidence to get up in front of everyone and do it, I don't know.
Okay. But it's like that every time we work anyway, because you're not in control. So, you know, if you try and be in control, it'll just sort of be you getting in front of you and whatnot. So that went well. So the idea of this this workshop, which we've got to condense into 45 minutes, is basically, as it says on the tin, I always felt I wanted to offer something that wasn't as obvious for me at one of these events, which was to get ordinary folks that had the aspiration or just the interest, just to get used to that, what we call tuning in, and the feeling of what's going on and the different state that that brings us in terms of our awareness. And I call that expanding our senses. Okay, so now the thing that's really important for me is there's the concept of what in Christianity is referred to as God, and what I say is the consciousness, setting aside any labels that exist for whatever. If we take the logic of what's flowing for us, through us and to us in each moment, is what we experience. You'd understand that because we get thoughts, we have dreams, we have ideas. We suddenly get up and say, I've got to go to Worthing today because, we don't know why, but we follow it. You all understand, you all had experiences like that in life. It kind of works the same way with the mediumship in the way that I like to consider it. And that's what I'd like to share back with you, because it's something that you can relate to, that experience. You'll recognize it on some level. You'll feel very comfortable there. And it's in that space and place where we expand our senses and let everything come through us. We have no resistance. And as we understand what's coming to us, we have the confidence to share it in a lovely closed group like this. It's really helpful. There's no judgment. Nobody's better than anybody else. That includes me and anybody that's working as a medium already, contrasted with those that may not be. And so it's just that lovely open setting. Now, in this short space of time, we need to do that slightly differently. So what I'd like you to do first is just to experience this consciousness that I refer to. And that's just my label that I like to put on it, because we need a label to sort of identify and grasp something. So are we all good with that? Yeah, we're all happy to proceed? Wonderful. So what I'm going to ask you to do in a moment is I'd like you just now, just shuffle on your chairs, get comfortable. My lovely ladies that are on the side to me, please turn around if you would. Just shuffle your chairs around, it'll be easy for you so you're facing. And get yourselves just sitting comfortably. That's great. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here is you're not only going to connect, but the thing that I haven't told you is you're going to let go of the resistance. And what will happen is you will probably feel yourselves either fighting to let go a little bit, in which case you'll become aware of when you're blocking yourselves. So when you're working as a medium, or when you're going to be giving a reading shortly, because I'll be picking you out at random to come and have a go, you've got to work. I'm not going to stand up here talking for 45 minutes. So you've got to do some muscle work too. You'll understand that if things are difficult, or have a grasp of whether you're blocking yourselves or not. Does that make sense? And it is all experience, because the more you do it, the more you'll understand what feels good for you, what doesn't, and you'll become more and more aware of what's working for you and what isn't. And the point of all of that is the thing that isn't working for you so well is what you need to work on. So it shows you what to do. And in fact, bigger than that, you show yourself what to do that perhaps you might be considering you're telling yourself that you can't do. So in other words, you can get yourself out of your own way. In other words, there's no blocking. It's just an idea. And that's what we do. So I'm going to invite you now just to sort of take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, if you're able to. There we go. And just as you do that, you just feel your energy will just subtly change. Some of you have closed your eyes already. That's great. You'll find that your eyes will want to close on their own when it's time and right and ready for you. And most of you have now. That's great. So just sit there and keep taking those breaths in through your nose and out through your mouths. And just in that awareness, just be aware of your energy changing. Things feeling a little more comfortable, a little easier. A bit like, I could use more of this in my life. This feels nice. And if it feels good for you, just in your minds, just say, this feels nice. This feels good for me. I like this. I like this. I want more of this. And as you stay in this space for one moment, you'll find yourself just reaching out, almost like you want to get more of the same. Keep going there. Don't worry about the noises in the background. It's good to have those because it will teach us to keep our attention where it is. Just be aware of the noise and let the noise go. Stay where you are, feeling good. That's it. And stay there for me. So I can feel you all now quite nicely. So staying in that space and place, I just want you to nod around the room if you feel somewhere that feels a little different for you, a little more comfortable and a little easier. To see some nodding heads would be great. We've got a few nodding away here. Okay. Going to ask you just one more time. Anyone, can you just nod your head if you're feeling a little easier, like your energy has shifted, you're a little more comfortable? Okay, great. So we've got a few nods around the room. And while you're there, I just want you to bring into your minds a really happy memory of someone that you love that has crossed over into what we call spirit. Just allow them to come in. They might show themselves as a picture. They might show themselves as an idea. They might whisper or say something to you. In other words, you will recognize them without thinking of them. You'll feel your emotions change. That energy that you settled with is now changing. You'll feel that shifting again. We've gone from when you come into the room, into the relaxing state, and then you'll be feeling your energy changing again. And just nod for me around the room if you can feel that. Got a few nods over here and at the back. That's great. And a few around. Okay. And that's fine. Just keep going with that if you will. Now just nod if you can recognize somebody or somebody's come to you in some way, maybe in your mind or whatever, but you can see them or hear them. Is that person actually with you? Just nod your heads when you do. Okay, that's great. Okay, we've got a few nods around the room. Now what I'd like you to do is, for you, is just to allow the thought of a question to them to go from you to them. Ask them a question. Say, it's lovely to see you. And be aware of your energy as you say that. Just pass it out. Just like you're phoning a long distance cousin or something like that. Allow that to go. You can almost visualize that going out of you and towards the other person and see them receiving it. Be aware of that energy. And ask them to come back to you. Sit there in that space and just be aware of anything that changes for you. You might get the tingles, the shivers, some sort of affirmation back visually, audibly, or in some way, shape or form that might mean something to you. Maybe a picture of something. If it was a mum that had passed and it was her birthday, maybe she'll show you a birthday cake because her birthday was in March or something like that that's symbolic. Just nod around the room if anybody's got anything. Got a couple of heads nodding. Okay. Now just staying there for a moment, just allow that energy to come back to you. It's okay. If you haven't got it now, it's absolutely okay. But just stay there. Be aware of the energy that you have got, that you can feel for the reply that's coming back to you. And notice, if you're able to compare that with the energy that you felt when you asked the question and whether they're different. There we go. Now, whoever has come to join you, I'd just like to invite you just to say thank you, goodbye, send them your love or whatever is appropriate for that relationship. And just take a breath in and out for me. As you feel that fade away, and you feel the energy changing, coming back more to that relaxed state. And then if I can get you to gesture your bodies, wiggle your fingers and toes. Just allow yourselves to return to the human you that's here right now in the room, and just allow your eyes to open when they want to. And as everybody did mostly there, their eyes opened on and by themselves. Okay, so just hands up, be brave, be bold. Remember, I'm over 50, so big hands are needed. Did anybody have a significant experience there at all? Lady at the back, Felicity, lovely lady at the front. Anybody on this table over here? Shaz over there. That's great. So would you mind if I just called a few of you out at random, just to share your experience of what you felt? And I'd love to start with my lovely gentleman over here, who was going to be difficult with me at the start, saying, oh, I don't know, but you got something. So would you like to share that experience? Would you like to come up and share it with the group? Let's give him a round of applause. I'm going to step out and give you the floor for a moment.
So yeah, well, I basically asked my mum to come in and say hello, and she did. She came closer. I felt the energy change.
Okay.
And
did you feel your energy go out and her energy come in?
yes. Yeah.
Very, very different. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. What was significant for you? Was there anything that was like a tipping point where it went from one state to another, where you went, okay, well, I'm working?
No, it was more the going out and coming in of the energy that was significant.
Fabulous.
Because normally I'll be there and someone will come in, as opposed to that exchange of energy.
Yeah, excellent. So basically, you've had your own little personal reading,
yeah.
And that's nothing that would be any different for you, standing up here, doing that in front of anybody here today. You're doing it, you've always done it. It's just to give you some sort of shape and just to show you that there it is.
Yeah.
It's always been with you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Big round of applause for him. Thank you. Wonderful. My lovely lady in the I'm colourblind, one of my many talents, no hair, no teeth, and colourblind. Would you be willing to come up and share? Let's give her a big round of applause. I'll explain why I'm getting you to come up in a minute at the end. I'm going to give you the floor. It's your floor now. And please do share your experience. We'd love to hear it.
Okay, so it was my lovely friend, I'm Sally, and she's a Sally as well, Sally Lunn. It's my friend Sally Lunn, and I'm Sally, she's a Sally. And obviously I haven't seen her since she passed. Sometimes she tries to come through, but I've never actually been able to properly chat to her. But just from doing that relaxation,
Yes.
was enough to open the door.
Yes.
It's wonderful. So
Thank you.
I knew she was in because I've gone from my lovely relaxed state to this rush of warmth when she came through.
Wonderful. I'm tingling as you talk.
Yeah, and so I asked how she was, and she said she was fine, and she showed me a banana in a holder, and she said, look, bananas have got skins, why do they need a holder? Why do you need to put yourself in armour? You need to remove your blocks. It's all right to have protection when you're doing this kind of work.
You mean you connected with your friend and she told you off?
Yeah, she was kind of telling me, she's
Oh no,
been trying to come
that
through
sucks,
to me
man.
for a while through other mediums, and she's saying, look, just remove.
Great.
You know those stupid things you buy that you put a banana in, those plastic holder things, and she's saying I've got to kind of remove that as a metaphor.
Okay.
Remove my blocks, and then.
So you got quite a strong message. And did you have a reaction to that or a response to that within you?
I said, yeah, I know, I've got to do this.
Did you feel any feedback from your emotions in your body anywhere?
I started to cry because it was such a powerful message, and she gave me a lovely hug.
Great.
And she's just right. It's resonated on all levels.
Great.
So,
and where in your body would you say was the strongest point where you felt it? There we go.
yeah.
There we go. That's lovely. Thank you. Big round of applause. So we've had a great response there. So I always use this expression that it's expanding our senses. There are no boundaries. So in that state of relaxation, when we take our blocks away either from ourselves, or if we're in an environment where we're finding it's not serving us, we need to remove ourselves from that environment. You can understand how things flow. That is also how manifesting works as well. Very, very simply. And so without resistance, you see, and as you start to recognize these different experiences, because you're not trying to interpret them or have ideas about them, they just are, and you're recognizing them for what they are, you're able to understand that anything is possible, including, my lovely gentleman, and forgive me picking on you, I mean, you're a big fella, so I don't want to upset you, but, you know, complete change around from what I would have had an idea about, what you were telling me you could and couldn't do, and you nailed it, you smashed it, absolutely, as most of you did, and we had some lovely nodding heads. Now, I met these two lovely ladies over here yesterday. They came up to me, and you were saying that you were keen to find out a little bit more. So would either of you like to come up and share what you experienced there?
I didn't manage to experience anything.
No? Okay, that's fine.
I felt something change, but I didn't feel anyone there.
Did you go from the state of like how you are now energetically to feeling a little different?
Yeah.
Did you shift at all beyond that point, or did you kind of stay there?
I felt like I stayed there.
Okay. Can I ask you a tricky question?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I was going to ask it anyway, but it just sounds more polite when you do that, doesn't it? You know, you can get away with it. So, do you consider that you can meditate?
No.
You just did.
Oh, right, okay.
You just did. That's the whole point. Whatever label you want to put on any aspect of the things that we're sharing together today, in that space and place that you go to without resistance, that connection with it, consciousness, when you expand your senses, that is the equivalent to the meditative state and energy that we all feel. Surrender. No resistance. And what comes along, we recognize it for what it is and go, okay. Now, the Bhagavad Gita is the Hindu equivalent of the Bible, and it has a lovely definition of detachment, and it says, detachment isn't that you own nothing, detachment is that nothing owns you. In other words, it is what it is. And when we recognize things and we allow it to pass, we don't hold on to an experience. We don't hold on to the trauma that would create. Fabulous demonstration last night. Peter, would you share that?
Yeah. People, you all saw me last night. You'll all go, you know, that seemed very easy. Believe me, and Ian will back this up. The minute you step from that, I was on that table probably where that lady sitting. The walk from there to there is 7 foot. It's the scariest walk you can do. It doesn't matter how many times you do it. The minute you step into that box, the first thing that goes through your mind is, I hope they don't let me down tonight. And that's because we're human.
Yeah.
And once you let it go, once you just go, actually, I'm just going to trust. You know, how can I made a joke about the sausages yesterday, because all they were showing me were trays of sausages.
Yeah.
So what do I determine from a tray of sausages?
There you go. But it kind of works itself out as you don't try and work it out. Yeah. Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much indeed. So that's a very good point, actually, and I'm glad you brought that up. So, you know, randomly you can get information that may not make sense to the person that you're delivering your message to, and they don't understand it and you don't understand it. But the more that you work with it, the more you'll become familiar. It's like speaking all over again from being a toddler. You build your own vocabulary because what gets shown to you as ideas or pictures. So for me, when somebody passes, if I get a date, I say, what's that for, a birthday? And I've talked to myself and this connection with spirit, and I've said, show me a cake for a birthday. That works for me. I like a nice concrete cross if it's a passing, and chinking champagne glasses for an anniversary. That's just what works for me. So just understand that you will get this as you work more and more and more. You'll build your own vocabulary, and so your readings will make more and more sense. Or when you ask questions, the answers will come in different ways and forms, so be open to them so that you recognize them. Because if you can't recognize it, you can't work with it. But it does take time. But the more successful you are and the more you keep going, so your momentum builds where you're ready to say, yeah, let's get up and do a reading today. I'm looking forward to it. Don't know how it's going to go, but let's see. You'll want to do it. It's almost like you can't not do it. It goes a stage further. And hopefully that's why the majority of you are here today. So as you all had quite a good go there and felt something very different, now it's my playtime. Oh, hang on, we've got a hand up.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Oh, yes, deeply.
Asking it.
No, of course.
Tough.
Yes, boss. Right. Well, thank you for that. My mum, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm joking. I'm joking.
So how do they know your symbols?
Well,
Like, when say my symbol passing across, do you go, how do they even know? It's my spirit guides that I work with. They automatically know my symbols. But people who've passed over, do they automatically know the same ones?
No, what I would say to you is, let's look at it and consider it this way round. Let's not have this sort of us and them, or a heaven and the opposite number to that, or a nirvana, or a whatever it is, and just accept this principle of consciousness so we are open to what comes. And if you ask that question as you've experienced already when you connected with your friend a moment ago, you didn't necessarily know how she was going to communicate or what she communicated to you in the way that she did, but you understood what she did. So you kind of missed a stage, probably because it's a familiar connection in terms of the relationship between the two of you. So that, I remember once, let me put it this way around, I sat in a barber shop as a kid, and I sat next to this elderly gentleman who was from Italy, had a very thick Italian accent, started talking to me, couldn't understand a word of what he was saying. It was all jibber jabber to me. As soon as he started talking about cars, I understood that because I like cars. There was no barrier with the language. It was the same language. It was the same man speaking just as for me unclearly as he did at the start of that conversation. This is what we're doing. So when you ask those questions, you will understand it. But what I did to help me work more quickly was I learned shorthand. And my shorthand was symbols. And I built up my own dictionary of symbols that work for me. And I found that they were used when I was working, and they came to me to show me. So consider it a language that you're teaching somebody else for the first time, that they're willing to learn and share back to you. It doesn't always work clinically. That's true. 9 times out of 10, that's us, not what's going on around us. Because you see, if you bring in the human mind into it, you will naturally try and question it and define it. And as I said at the start, it just is. It's all about that detachment logic. Does that help you? Wonderful. Thank you very much. So now I'm looking for a volunteer who would very much like to go out of their comfort zone and come up and give a reading. Because you've all nailed it already in some way and on some level. So for asking a question, you're going to put up. Yeah, okay. Let's give her, what's your name, my darling? Sally. Let's give Sally a big round of applause. Thank you, Sally. Mandy, could you just shut that door for me? Thank you. Right, Sally, the floor is yours. You might have to speak loudly because you... Otherwise, I've got to whip the microphone out. It's a bit of a pickle. See where you're drawn, or however it works for you.
Well, I've never done it before, so I'll give it a go.
Okay. Good for you.
Okay, so I've got an older lady, well, she's home off already. So, she looks like she's in her 80s, she's got white hair, but even until the end, she always put, you know that old-fashioned foundation that's in one of those, like, compact things? She's doing that, but it's a little bit too pink for her face. And she's got lipstick on, and she's showing me a cross, but not in the terms of, I think it's to do with religion. She was a very religious lady. Does that resonate with anybody?
Anything on the religion? Anything particular that stands out?
I'm feeling Catholic or like High Church of England because of the cross imagery.
Where does, ask her if she can take your eyes to the person that she wants to speak to.
All right, so this is what I can.
Okay, just see who you're drawn to that you can't explain why in the room. Because if the little so-and-sos are not putting their hands up, because they can be scampish, this lot, I'm sure, see where you feel you need to go.
Definitely this half of the room.
Okay, and then just ask her front or back, and just use left and right and see if you can narrow it that way. And what face stands out for you? Maybe it lights up more than the others.
You, yeah, I do think it's you.
Who did you go to? Sorry, Sharon. Ask Sharon if she can take your information.
Take my information? I can, yes.
Excellent.
Oh, brilliant.
Good. This is great.
She showed me home baking, like scones or something When you went round to her house, would you always have a tin of something homemade for you? Or would they be like M&S's but put in a tin?
Quite possibly, actually, yes. I can't remember very well.
But there's always something nice. So if it's not homemade, it's got to be like at least M&S's.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah, it's not just any old scones, it's M&S scones. She's saying you've been through a little bit of a tricky time, and she's saying she's really proud of how you've come through it. She said you haven't just done it in a normal kind of way, you've done it with grace and flair, and she's showing me like a swan. So it's like the swan's all graceful floating along, and your little legs, or little whatever swans have got, like paddling underneath, but everything would seem graceful. But she also said that you've got a support network around you, but you don't always use them. It's true. And it's like, no, I'm fine, I've got this, I can do this. But she's saying there is a grace in accepting help, as well as, she said you're always one for giving the help. Oh yeah, I can help you with that, I'll walk your dog, you're one of those. But she said that there is a grace in just saying, okay, yes please, if you wouldn't mind just doing that for me. Because there's a joy in giving as well as, and you need to give them the joy of giving as well. Saying about looking after yourself a bit more as well. And I think that's going alongside always doing stuff for other people. It's interesting, she's using the images I get from when I work with spirit guides about nurturing. She's showing me a seed in the ground, and she said seed needs darkness to grow. Yes, it does, but now it also needs water and food and light, and that's the stage you're at now. You've got you're that seed, and now it's time for you to blossom into a flower.
Have you got anything else that you can ask her for, maybe a symbol or something that's particularly relevant for Sharon? See if you can use what we did in that relaxing state of expanding our consciousness and expanding our senses.
Ring? Is that right? Oh, okay.
Excellent.
What do I do now?
Anything else you feel that you have to share, or do you feel that the message has gone
I
across?
think that was the message.
Okay.
So what do I do now? Just thank her?
Yeah, well, thank her in your mind, and then just say to Sharon, thank you for working with me, and just say thank you for your time, love and attention is what I do. Let's give her a massive round of applause. How about that? That's absolutely fabulous. Okay, who would like to come next? Okay, I asked that question once and then I picked someone. I don't do it nicely, I don't force you up here. Not often anyway. Come on, don't leave a guy standing here alone. Who would like to come up and have another go? How about my lovely gentleman over here? Would you like to really go for I believe in you, you got this. What's your name, sir? John. Let's give John a massive round of applause. Take the floor, John. In your own time. Just follow what you feel you need to do. Maybe you're drawn to somebody, you'll know where you need to go, or just to share the information, whatever you feel. Allow it just to come out.
I think I'm with this lady here, with the blue cardigan. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm getting, I know obviously we're by the seaside, but I'm getting an image of a boat, and it's white, but I can't see anything else really. It's a gentleman, okay, and he had a hip problem. And he suffered from arthritis in his hands quite badly. So he liked looking at the boats, and he liked going on the boat when he was younger, but he couldn't do it later on because of his hip and hand, but he liked looking at the boats, so he liked being by the sea.
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
The wrong way around. I'm getting a male connection on your father's side, and I want to say grandfather, I want to say, did your I'm not asking the question, but did your father's brother is the link that's seems to be coming through?
Uncle,
Oh, that's all right.
paternal uncle
Yeah.
feeling, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If you're no, no.
Do you know of him, Christine? Do you know of him?
Yes, I heard of him,
Okay, that's great.
but I don't know. I've got pictures
Yeah.
of it. I've got quite a lot of old pictures of him.
Yeah.
In an album.
Okay. An image I'm being shown is he looks like a man who looks a little bit like Bing Crosby in his younger days. Is the face that I'm seeing or being shown. And there's one picture with is it a white sailor's hat on?
That's my dad.
Okay.
Great stuff.
Definitely my dad. He wore that.
And was it your dad who had the hip and
Well, he had,
arthritis?
he had a fall from the boat.
Excellent.
Caught him all of it.
And I can feel my getting going, and I want to go and ruin it. It's not really nice, really, is it? But I'm going to, because why? I've got the microphone. So, from different states of where we thought we were at when we all came into the room, and I'm not labelling anybody or picking on anybody, but picking on John. Wow, that was incredible. Absolutely incredible. So you've now shown yourself you can, and always could have done. But it's okay to wait for the right moment for you, the right setting, to be ready to allow that to happen. It happens in its own good time when you're ready. It can happen before, but you can't force anything. You cannot push a noodle. You cannot push water uphill. You might get some success, but when it doesn't feel right, simple, don't do it. There's a very simple joke that somebody goes to the doctor, says, Doctor, every time I touch myself it really hurts, and the doctor says, don't do it. But it is literally that. And the reason I bring a joke in is because can you just feel how easy that is with the energy when we laugh? And that's the realization of when we expand our senses and allow ourselves to have no resistance. And the momentum of the laughter in this instance building makes everything possible. And that's how this works. Absolutely fantastic. Now, can I entice anybody else to come up and be willing to have a go? Sharon, did you have your hand up? Sharon, let's give Sharon a big round of applause. Sharon's a friend of mine. Let's welcome her up. Big voice.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You're welcome. All yours, Sharon.
Right, I had a gentleman with me. He's about this high. Mobility issues, an elder man. But I see him with his back towards us, but he's playing the piano. Oh my God, he's got a real sort of tune going on. I feel that it's somebody's grandfather. Does anybody recognise this gentleman?
May I just interrupt you for one moment? Do you know where you're going? Do you feel drawn to another side of the room or anyone individually? Okay, cool.
What did you say?
No, it was just where you were. Did you have any senses when the message was coming to you? You were feeling here or here, or
Right.
because it's great evidence.
Okay. I didn't mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, he really enjoys it. He really enjoyed his music and the emotional connection to his music. It brought me back memories from years gone by, good times in just with friends, just enjoying himself. What I'm seeing is that he's putting a glass of wine in front of you now. I don't know whether you drink or not, but I feel that this glass of wine is symbolic because it's symbolic because it's taken an age to get to maturity. It's taken a little while for that wine to become beautiful and good to the palate. And I think that what he's saying is that it's symbolic of you and your life and the way that your life has just come to a point where it's beautiful.
Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Sharon. Woohoo! So now, as Sharon takes that long walk back to her chair, do you all understand that we've got different people coming up, doing their readings, and people are understanding the information? You must do. You've seen it, right? Yeah, it's happening, isn't it? Excellent. So now do you believe in yourselves a little bit more, perhaps? Excellent. So who's next? Shirley? Pardon? You only do psychometry. Can we just stick to the traditional more ways at the moment? Because, yeah, sorry?
I do pick up sometimes, but it's more psychometry is my thing.
No, okay, all right. But for now, if you don't mind, and that's great because Shelley's a great medium and my friend as well. But what I'd like to do is just to keep this going, because I just want to build and give people the opportunity. Don't worry about whether anyone can take your reading any more or less than the readings you've seen and witnessed before, because don't have any judgment. Just come up and feel if there's something that you've got to share. It's okay to come up here and say, I feel like I want to talk about sand, boats, blue skies or whatever, and see where it takes you, because it's going beyond your comfort zone. That's where we need the faith. The faith we don't need before, we need it there. So don't try and have faith if you don't know why you need faith and where it's applicable. So I'm looking for somebody that's prepared to be brave enough to come up and be out of their comfort zone. Who would like to volunteer for that? Come on. Look at this face. You can't resist that. Who's going to come up? Please? I'll ask nicely. Oh, they're all nervous now. Would anybody on this table like to come up? Who feels like I really kind of want to, almost like somebody's trying to tip you out of your seat? Anybody feeling like that? I promise you it's not me. Linda, would you like to? Linda, would you like to come up? Linda, would you like to come up? We would love you to come up. It's okay. I'd love to share your experience. No? Okay, that's absolutely fine. That's all right, my darling, that's all right. Now, I'm quite drawn to my lady with the glasses on her head. I kind of feel like I need to pull you up. Would you be willing to loosen the noose and come up of your own free will? Darling, what's your name? What was your name, my darling? Sarah. Big round of applause for Sarah. Woo! Sarah, do your thing. The floor is yours.
I feel like I'm with you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Creep. I'm going to come into the limelight with you.
Now, I have a gentleman. He's a tall gentleman, very much like yourself.
Okay.
And, I feel that he's very thin, and I feel like I'm on a grandfather.
Yeah.
Think.
Yeah, completely.
He's drawing me to his stomach area.
Yeah.
There's something with his stomach area.
Yes, it was.
And towards the end, I feel that he was stooped.
He was.
As he was walking.
He did.
I feel very clever man.
Yeah.
Very straight talking.
Yes.
Very. He was direct, but you could confide in him.
Yes.
You could go and get advice from this man.
Yes.
Very knowledgeable man.
Yep.
And I see him reading. See him on a newspaper.
Yep.
He's just calming me down because my nerves.
You don't need
I
nerves.
feel in his presence he was a calm.
Yeah.
He could make you. If you had a problem or there's a situation. He was I feel a very strong man. And
Yeah,
I
he
would
was.
say a gentleman.
He was.
He's
And is.
talking about a pocket watch.
Yes. I've got it.
Watch, okay. And he's just saying the month of April. I've got the month of April.
It's my nan's birthday.
Okay.
Thank you. His wife.
When you said Nan's birthday, I've got pearl earrings
Yeah.
coming in.
Yes.
And also like a matching, like
Yeah.
a two-set.
Yeah.
Saying it's a two-set. And I want...
I'm just. Yeah, you're going to get the full Monty here. Keep going. Don't stop. There's no microphone. Just keep talking to Ian.
But I
also want holidays this end of the country, around
Yes.
this end of the country.
Yeah.
I want him sitting in one of the old-fashioned deck chairs.
Yep.
I've been seeing the line, the stripes, and the deck chair, and sitting there with like a hanky with the knots.
Yeah.
And it's a memory link, and he would have sat quite happily eating fish and chips. That's
Yep.
what I'm getting in the paper. I'm asking why he's here for you.
Excellent.
I see there's paperwork coming up, but I feel like there's I want to say teaching. It's exams or something. There's something.
Okay.
I'm seeing studying,
Okay.
and I'm seeing writing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. And I want to sit down now because my heart's going. What else?
He does or you do?
I do feel heart.
Yeah, that's very relevant. He had an aortic aneurysm.
Okay, I feel heart. Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, that was connected to
Correct. Yeah.
here. Yeah. Problem with the knees. I don't know if this is just gentlemen or if this is for you.
It's for me. Thank you for that.
The knees. Okay. But I also want to bring back round to the spine
Yes.
and the disc. Something
Yep.
here.
Yep.
I feel that he works around you a lot.
He does.
Spiritually, like guiding and pushing you as well.
He does.
And a lot of philosophy
Yep.
from this gentleman to you. And he's giving you a gift as a box, like a present. And inside it's a crystal egg.
Okay.
And it opens up. And there's a coin inside. It's very bizarre. I've not seen anything like this. It's a coin. He wants to give you that for luck and
Thank you.
and good fortune. I'll say
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Thank you very much. Massive round of applause. Woo-hoo! Excellent, excellent. Right, okay. I need to ask how we're doing on and so I'm going to ask my friend Mandy over there.
It's 4 minutes past 4.
Okay, what time do I finish, Richard? 4 o'clock. Oh, have I gone past that? It's a lovely Sarah woman coming into the room. So, just to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to share with you is, do you all believe that everything is now possible? Yes. You've seen different people get up and do their thing. You understand how you can get yourself into that state of being ready to receive a message, and if you don't feel that you are ready, you understand how to remove that as well. You understand how to open a door. That makes sense. And the door is the doors. It's the door in and the door out, so everything can flow through you. Make sense? Do we have any nods? Excellent. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for those that came up that were brave. You all did an incredible job. You should be very, very proud. Thank you so much. Thank you.